Hello and welcome to the Cave of Creation, and what is the penultimate of the main videos on the creation of characters in Heroforge. There will probably be some extras that get added in later as new features are added. But for now, after this video, which will be on adding colour, the next one will be exporting, and then we're done. So, as always, if you like the content, please click the like button. It really does help the channel get out there. Subscribe, click the bell so you know when I put out more information. Comment, let me know what you think. Do you like it? What would you change? And join us on Facebook and Discord with links in the description for all of the above. I'll also be adding in links for all of the other videos in this series. So, moving on to what you're really here for, colour. And we're largely done with our friend, but I'll probably use some of the colour for adding to this. So, colour, when it catches up with me, has a number of things. The first two, body and theme, basically are quick one-stop shops. So, there you go. That gives the skin and hair colour. Then if I go theme, what that would do is the same thing for everything else. So with 2 clicks, you can create some quite interesting things. Actually quite like what it's doing with the tentacles there. But otherwise, every item is in multiple segments. And then you have decals you can layer over the top. We're going to come back to decals later on. Paints. His hair is actually a bit more brown than I'd like it there. So I click on the library for hair. He's on truffle black. I'm going to go charcoal ice cream. And remember to do the eyebrows. Now some of these functions, like my library, are only available within Pro subscription. I don't know why I copied that. I didn't mean to. What I was wanting to do was open that up so I've got all of the individual options. With hair, I always like to make it rougher so it's not as glossy, it doesn't look as plasticky. And in the case of him, I want less blue, so I'm just going to run these straight over to white. And then I'm going to pinch up the highlights and pinch down the others. There we go. So that's his hair done. Generally happy with his skin tone. Glasses and eyes. We can't really see his eyes, so I'm going to leave his eyes normal. Glass, and in my library I actually created a slightly different version of ash bottle to work as a good glass material. And then metal, antique brass, and his glasses are done. Shirt, so we're going to go cloth. Something really nice and bright white. Weighty white. I'm going to go to metal for the next bit. Blood plate, because that comes across like silk, as you would expect on a fancy red waistcoat. Back to cloth. And I think charcoal cashmere for a suit. Don't forget the belt loops. I've done that more times than I can count. And then, because he's obviously fairly wealthy and refined, I'm going to go for a more silky effect for the other bits. Notice you will occasionally get breakthroughs. When you're painting it, it's not so serious, and they do gradually go around and try and fix all of those. And what you can't see, because it's hidden by his coat, is these dress pants have two back pockets that you need to go and deal with. I'm then going to go back to antique brass. Actually, I'm not for his waistcoat. For his waistcoat, I'm going to go silver. The same for his jacket. But I'm going to go... No, I'm not. I'm going to stick with silver. For his belt buckles. Leather. This is a slightly darkened version of Rogue Black, but I'm going to use the standard one. I'm going to do all of the buckles in that colour. And then on his boots, there's some metal buckles, so back to brass. See, we're getting somewhere with him now, aren't we? On brass, so I'm going to come through and actually change what it did automatically. The robot hand and wrist. So his hand and wrist are now brass. Far more steampunk. As is that. And probably there. And those. Now the rest of his boots are going to be leather. So let's try Quill Cognac. Looks quite nicely. I have options for highlighting different areas and making them look a bit more fancy. I haven't decided on those yet. And then he's obviously got some kind of high sock underneath. So I'm going to use a bit of the more red dark shadow dark. Just to add some interest and light. And then back to metal. And something completely different, Griffin Brown. Just for the boots. Now we've got socks to deal with. Back to cloth and warm walnut. There we go. Candle. So 2 parts of the candle. There's the flame. And then there's the wax, which I would probably usually go into plastic, something like a pastel beige. Goggles on the forehead, glass, use ash bottle, no, that's more interesting. Back to our leathers, put black leather there, go back to the Quill Cognac for there. The book. So, Ancient Radiant Gold. This is a very powerful and expensive book. A bit of silver there and there. Then pale leather. for the outer casing. And I'll usually use hair and probably blonde, a bit pale, butterscotch blonde. For that, still have a base. So woods, Rotting Harbour. I don't think he's going to be doing this anywhere too public or in the best rooms in the house. So it's getting quite interesting now, isn't it? Now I'm going to create some colours. So how do I want to do this? Something kind of rough brown at the ends of these, because I kind of liked how that worked. I'm going to actually go to flesh. That's more like it. Now I'm going to go into mix. Don't know if this will work, but I'm going to make it transparent plastic. And then I'm going to come back up here to that and do the same. So now they look a bit more ethereal. To use that same colour tone for what's coming out of his book. So that gives you a bit on colouring your character. This is going to be a longer video because there's still a couple of bits left to do. Lights, I'm going to switch to a warm colour when it wakes up. There we go. Then I want to move it. Clicking that enables you not just to have to use those, but to be able to grab these handles. It's a lot easier to position it exactly where you want that way. Not least of all because the handles let you see where the light source is. Now with that, you can do some interesting bits. You can change the intensity. So it's a candle, it's probably not that bright. Dark magic does really weird stuff I've never quite figured. But that gives us a nice light source for him to see by. Now I'm going to turn on the other light. Now this, rather than having an object creating it, is going to be kind of a little off scene on this side. Green. Let's just what do you do with that? Ooh, I like that. But let's just drop the intensity of it a little. There we go. Now, decals enable you to put things on top of other bits. A lot of the time you just have the same blood spatter, but on things like books, you can change the pages and symbols. So what I want is page 1 to have a bunch of text. And page 2 to have a bizarre diagram. I can come over and click the cog, which enables me to change their size and bits slightly, so generally bigger, not smaller. But I want a greeny element to the text. Now you can go over these with the ordinary colours and replace them as normal. When you're doing ones on the face, you need to be cautious because you can accidentally find that you've covered over what you want to work with. So now we have stuff on our book, and remember I was talking about stubble. So you've got lots of layers on the face. Layer A is at the bottom. If you put another layer over the top, you won't be able to click on it to paint, and anything that goes over it will disappear. So he's got fairly high, large stubble. I would say that one fits closest because it's not designer stubble. Now, needless to say, it's not going to be bright red. So you've got different shades that can go across different areas. So I'm going to want to go really dark for where his goatee is. And then slightly paler, maybe a bit paler than that. For the rest. So there we have decals, light, and a well-prepped miniature ready for export. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it interesting. There's one more to go. Look at the others, have a look through this, go and play with Heroforge. It's a great piece of software and it gives you lots of things for your characters. In the next video, what I'm going to show is the ways you can export them and what you can do with your miniatures afterwards. I'll also probably touch on the different subscription types. So, as I said before, please like, subscribe, click the bell, join us on Discord or Facebook, and put in the comments what you like to see. What do you think is going well? What isn't so well? Let me know. That way I can tweak the channel to what fits you, because that's what's important. That and creating a really strong and wonderful community. So until the next one, bye for now.